Give me a good reason to stop sinning. Coming up next on Pastor Bob's Coffee Break. Using this mug 2 days in a row. It is well with my soul. Love this mug. And I got a few comments from yesterday, and I thought we'll just use it again. Good one, isn't it? It is well with my soul. Drinking a little bit of Headbangers Brew in that mug today. Our brand new blend, Brewed Awakening. So good. And this has been our most popular so far. Rave reviews on this one from so many people. And I'm so happy about that. People that are coffee aficionados that love Brewed Awakening. So that in regular bags, K-cups, 5-pound bags. All of our mugs, our t-shirts, our posters, right here. WeAreMetal.com. Dear Pastor Bob, should a believer make a promise to stop sinning? Great question. For example, I have a habitual sin of lying and being untruthful. I've struggled with it my entire life. It was much worse before I was a Christian, but some of it is carried over into my life after being saved. I'm not proud of it. I've been married for almost 4 years, and my wife notices when I lie about stuff. I'm sure she does. Some of it was intentional. Other times I was unaware of it. Since I've been doing it for so long, it's almost second nature to me. I don't lie to hurt my wife. I just do it because it's ingrained in me, it seems. My wife asked me to promise her that I would never lie again. Is it right of my wife to ask me such a request? I still struggle with other sins, but not as much as this one. I love my wife. I know she means well. She wants me to live a holy life. What advice might you have for me? I think your wife does mean well, and she has the best for you too. And she's probably a little frustrated. Yeah. You know, I have made so many promises to God that I would quit sinning. Maybe you have too. You know, and you say, Lord, I promise I'll never do this again, and then you do it again, and you go, this time I really mean it, I'm not going to do it again, and then you do, and you get a little cold for a while, and you just forget to ask forgiveness, and then all of a sudden the conviction hits you again, and you ask again, and I promise I'll never do this again. And does this strike a chord with you? Because I think all of us go through this. We try, and we try, and we try, and it doesn't quite work. And folks, you know, it seems like the more you try not to sin, the more you sin. It's not the process of quitting that's going to work for you. You know, it has to be replaced with something else. The desire to sin has to be replaced with my desire to follow the Lord. That has to be intrinsic, and it has to be emotional. Has to be. I have to take my emotions there, and my desire says, I don't want to do that. Otherwise, I'll do it. And so how do we get there? Well, we've talked a lot about growing in the faith for a lot of years here. And it really is that and more. I want to go to Ephesians in chapter 4, verse 29. And he says, do not let unwholesome or foul, profane, worthless, vulgar words ever come out of your mouth, which would also include lying. Don't let these things come out of your mouth, but only such speech as is good for building up others, according to the need and the occasion, so that it will be a blessing to those who hear you speak. Now see, there's something that we replace it with. And you're not going to quit lying, or whatever it is that you're dealing with, you're not going to quit until there's something more attractive, something more intrinsic, something more emotionally driven to replace it with. And so he says, don't let these things come out of your mouth. But he says, but according to the need and the occasion, so that it will be a blessing to those who hear you speak. So my desire becomes, I want to bless people who hear me talk. I want the words of my mouth to be a blessing to people instead of a curse or instead of a lie. And so this applies to anyone who is dealing with profanity, for instance. You know, I always find it interesting that some of the people that deal the most with cussing, the wrong words coming out of their mouth, I'm always surprised because they never cuss in front of me. And even though I can have a 3-hour conversation, 5-hour conversation with someone, they can be around me all day and never cuss. And yet they swear that they are trapped by it and they can't quit. Why can you quit around me and you can't when I'm not there? I don't get that. I think it is something we can overcome. If you can in the short term, you can in the long term. But he says, don't let these kinds of things come out of your mouth. The foul language, the lying, whatever it is, whatever's coming out of your mouth, he said, there's a reason for it. I want you to be a blessing to those who hear you speak. What an awesome opportunity. Folks, you have an opportunity in so many ways, always, to be a blessing to people and not a curse. Every time a foul word comes out of your mouth, every time a lying word comes out of your mouth, you take away the blessing that you could have given that person instead. Now see, there's a motivation for us, and it's the correct motivation. Well, folks, speaking of blessings, don't forget, you are blessed. You are blessed from him. You are blessed with a new name, Saint. You are blessed with a new nature, God's nature, and you are blessed with eternal life. You are blessed. So go and be a blessing.